Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I said it on many occasions that sometimes I wish players from the opposite team should come and play for our team, and we should just get rid of some of our players and give it to them, really like that. And I gave a lot of examples from when I was a kid and played football, and you knew who's a weak link over here and who you could pass the ball and do something, and you immediately knew on the opposite team who was a good player and who was a loser. So you will say, oh my god, I want that guy to play with us and I want this guy to go over there, but it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, we have this Antony Blinken, who is the top diplomat. And I would like him swapped with, for instance, Peter Giarto of Hungary, or with Dr. Jaishankar of India, even with Sergei Lavrov of Russia. And I said not even because he barely makes it, but he is the evil incarnated. And also Wang Yi of China. I would like all those guys here and give them Annalena Baerbock of Germany, Liz Truss of Great Britain, she was the foreign minister as well, Blinken, Newland over there as well. I want all these weasels to go over there, all these no good people, no good. Now what happened, Emil? Well, look at this weasel here. This article comes from Sputnik, and this weasel, who's Antony Blinken, he says, top US diplomat says Americans dislike countries bullying each other. Well, that means that I should dislike the United States of America? I mean, how much lack of self-awareness you need to have, or what kind of insincere person you must be to say such a thing? Top US diplomat says America dislikes countries bullying each other. Really? I mean, you don't have to go and look in a history in United States, its history for more than 30 years. And in 30 years, you have so many examples of this. Doesn't he know that? How can you say this with a straight face? Well, as I said, the United States' current diplomacy, not current, in the past 30 years, diplomacy tools are only four. They forgot about, being able to negotiate, having flair, being diplomatic. That's why you're a diplomat, being diplomatic, have knowledge, No, that's not it. This is what the United States has right now. 4 tools in their so-called diplomacy toolbox. Threats, blackmail, regime change, and plain bombardment or invasion, based on whatever they find wrong with your country, and they will fix it for you. All right, so here we go. Let's see what this guy says in what context. So February 24th, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Friday that Americans dislike seeing countries bullying each other, despite the United States maintaining an armed presence at approximately 750 bases across 80 countries. When they talk about Russia's imperialistic mindset. Okay, if Russia has an imperialistic mindset, what can you talk about these guys? Unless you say these guys are just the forces of good and the other ones are forces of bad by default, and then that's it. Forces of bad right there, forces of good right here. And this is, I'm quoting right now, I think viscerally most Americans, okay, I like that one, don't like to see a big country, oh my God, bullying another, and they just feel it's wrong and want to do something about it. Let me give you a few scenarios. Big country, United States, Serbia, 1999, United States, Iraq. Iraq was 20 million people. United States was about 300 million. Does it fit this? What about United States and Libya? Libya is 4 million people. How about the United States and Afghanistan? I don't know how much is Afghanistan, but I think they got like 3 goats and 5 snakes and 3 doves. So this is, but he's not seeing that. Remember, I'm not a, and again, it's not about me, but I'm not a, how do you call it, religious person. But I read a few things, let's put it mildly, about this. And I remember that little saying, you know, before you see the whatever in my eye, see your beam from yours. I think that this statement qualifies for that kind of, hey, Blinken, before you accuse me, just take a look at yourself, just to use Eric Clapton's song. All right, so let's move here and see what's going on. Blinken accused Russia of violating international norms of non-aggression by launching its special military operation in Ukraine. Russia insists the operation is intended to demilitarize and denazify territories targeted by the regime in Kiev, with Moscow also pointing towards NATO expansion and destabilizing activities in Ukraine as reasons for the operation. Now, the NATO alliance was formed by 12 countries in 1949, expanding to 30 members as of February 2023. Sweden and Finland are also now moving towards finalizing their accession to the alliance, with Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia, and Ukraine also considering aspiring members. Right? Okay, well, that's good. Good for them. Good for them. So this would be a little bit of a question for Mr. Blinken. If what Russia does is bad, what about what the United States did to the country that I mentioned? I can't remember exactly. What was the reason why Iraq deserved to be bombed and... Oh yeah, freedom and democracy. Oh, first it was the weapons of mass destruction, right? No, first was they supported the terrorist attacks on September 11. That was the first one. But when they say, well, this is kind of like a long stretch right here, let's do it with weapons of mass destruction, any imminent threat to attack us. We got to do something about it. All right? And it was that famous thing, you're with us or against us. Oh, so if I'm against you, that means I'm with the enemy, so I have to be with you. Okay, so I remember that correctly? And then let's go with Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia was attacked by what? By NATO, right? NATO countries? Now, I know NATO, was it, it's a defensive alliance. Was it attacked by Yugoslavia, which was formed by Serbia and Montenegro in 1999? Was it attacked by Yugoslavia? No. Did they have the Security Council's, UN Security Council's go ahead? No. That makes it illegal. So if this is illegal, why do you think yours was not? Again, this thing that this guy can say in public and not having Americans, some Americans, because some see that and say, that's wrong. You know, but saying the courage, the chutzpah that this guy can have and come over there. Remember, there are countries out there that are very much aware of what happened in the past. And you know, because the criminal tends to forget his crimes. The victims doesn't forget the crime that was, you know, perpetrated on him, on or her. The problem is when you go over there and you change a regime in, how do you call it, in Iran in 1954, I think, with Mossadegh or whatever he was, the prime minister of, right, that he tried to nationalize this and that, and then he was out, right? When you do that, do you expect the Iranians to like you? Yeah, you bring the Shah Reza Pahlavi back over there and you support him and so on. But then the other guy comes. By the way, where did Ayatollah Khomeini come from? In 79 was it, the revolution, Islamic revolution? Where did he come from? Wasn't it Paris? What the fuck was he doing in Paris? And he just flew to Iran. Is that fantastic? You know, people don't forget these kind of things. South America, how many governments were used the third tool from the toolbox of diplomacy? No, I mean, I don't have to give you examples now, but there's books written. I'm going to suggest one. It's called Overthrow. Just look, I have it here. I mentioned it many times. It gives you some examples how CIA just did a hanky-panky here and there. And those guys did not forget. People were killed. military juntas got over there in power and killed thousands of people. Crimes after all these beautiful interventions. Those people don't forget that because they had children now, and the children are adults, and they remember that their father was killed by that because that was because of that and because of, big countries. And it's too many places that these guys stuck their nose in as big country to small countries. And now they don't even want to take on a big country. This is another thing. You see how that happens? They are fighting Russia not face to face. Like, okay, man, let's sort things out right now. No, you're fighting with, with your little weasels. You try to get to suck the energy of your equal in power. You don't say, everybody, go over here, let's fight, basically. No, you send your little weasels over there, pam, 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 pam. Maybe one of these guys gonna have a lucky shot. Anyway, the point is, this is our top diplomat saying such a thing. And if you think he says that just because it's Russia, I think you're mistaken. This is the way he thinks. He can use the same way of reasoning, if you want to call it reasoning, against you, or I, or whomever he wants. And what are you going to do about it? I tell you what, nothing. Nothing, because he was appointed by an elected official that can do whatever he wants for 4 years. He appointed that guy over there. The guy went through the, confirmation hearings. Then there you have him. I don't even know if he had to go to confirmation hearings, but it doesn't matter. If he went, he was confirmed by other elected officials, so he's kosher. He's good to go. What are you going to do? Nothing. Just go and work, pay your taxes, consume, watch stupid TV shows, drink your beer, and shut up. All right, this is Blinken. Can you believe that? Really, 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 really. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.